Morning, all. Are you somebody who's a bit like me, who's a bit confused and a bit disappointed, really? I'm talking about Boris Johnson. Yes. So the situation, as you're probably well aware, is that Boris Johnson is clinging on by his fingernails. So he's been clinging on to his premiership by his fingernails for some time now, hasn't he? And he has managed to hold on. Doesn't matter whether Partygate was, whether he was lying there. Was there a party? I wasn't at a party. Well, maybe I was at the party. I can't quite remember if I was at a party. Oh, yes, no, actually, I did. I was at the party, but I wasn't there for very long. And in fact, this is my house and this is the garden, and it's not really a party if people are here working. Oh, they've got bottles of champagne, have they? And various vol au vents. Does that make it a party, or is it just, we're saying goodbye? Anyway, Boris Johnson, when he came to power, I remember when he was being put up as the potential prime minister, and people were saying, "No, don't have him. Don't. He'll be rubbish. He's a liar. He's a liability. He's going to be no good." And I am one of those people who stood up for him and said, "No, I think he'll be good. I think he's just what the country needs. We need a bit of a shake-up," in a way that Trump, like him or don't dislike him, he sort of shook up the process, and people, it just made people have to do things very differently. And I think from time to time you need somebody, a maverick that comes in that does things a little bit different, so that you don't get into that sort of staid way of doing things and what have you. Now, I'm all for traditional doing things and don't rock the boat too much, but sometimes you do need to go through a storm and have things washed clean, and then you can sort of take stock. However, you don't want to destroy the country at the same time. So when Boris came in, I was very much in favour of him, and I actually argued in his favour, among friends and family and contacts and people who watch the stuff that I do. However, I feel now, and this has been growing and growing and growing, how wrong I was. And I put my hands up. Yes, I was totally wrong. I got it wrong, and they saw something in Boris that I had not seen, that I had been suckered in. And I feel bad, that I had been suckered in to the lies and the manipulation and the fact that this guy who set himself up as being, excuse me, I've got a bit of hay fever, I think, who set himself up as being patriotic, British, up for all the stuff that we Brits want, with his Get Brexit Done and all of that, and then suddenly started to not be anything like that, the government started to become more as a communist state government following the Chinese, with locking us all up during the pandemic, and not really listening to any of listening to one side of the science, not all of the science, particularly other eminent scientists who were putting things into place like the Great Barrington Declaration and saying, maybe we should do this, and just dismissing all of that, and not putting the mainstream media right. And now we're beginning to pay for all of those big, huge mistakes, I think, that he's made. And I started to think, no, I can't deal with this man. He is the buffoon that he says he is, or the buffoon that he portrays. He's not as clever as everybody has been telling me that he really is underneath this Eton chap. And so he's clinging on. And we've got the Health Secretary and the Chancellor of the Exchequer last night resigning. And now I think they're being replaced by Boris is quickly doing a quick shuffle to get some new people in the various different positions. But I don't know that it's going to last. The mainstream media and commentators are all saying this is the end of Boris, although, we know he's a slippery fish and he seems to somehow cling on to this, but it really can't go on. I think the British public have began to see that he isn't the Churchill that we figured we needed. And I think he is living a dream world in which the rules don't work for him and he can't quite understand why everybody's against him. I don't know. However, that's all going to happen And I suppose what I'm trying to say in today's little snippet here is, well, when he goes, who is going to replace him? It looks like you've got Sunak and Sajid Javid going, we'll resign so that we look principled, and then maybe we can get rid of him and one of us can run for the top job and one will be basically the sidekick. And I started to think, well, I don't know. I don't think any of those at the top really should be in charge of the country. I don't think they've proved themselves in any shape or form. They should have been much earlier on trying to push Johnson into a better position. I mean, we've got this, ridiculous green agenda that he seems to be holding on to. We're in a cost of living crisis. We've got too much fuel duty on the petrol and diesel, on fuels. People can't heat their homes. And the government just seems to be dithering. So I don't think any of them on the top in cabinet are really of any use to us whatsoever. I don't know what you think. Who would make the next prime minister? Who do you think should govern the country? Who would you put in? I would like to see somebody who is very clear in a direction that they want to take the place. I want somebody who is very much on the Brexit side, because that's what most of the people voted for in this democratic society that we live in. And I would like to see someone who is totally British and holding up for British things. I've got nothing against, people like Sunak as people who have come from other communities and done well, and from foreign extraction and coming in and doing well and being part of the government. I've got no problem with that per se, but I think at the moment now we need somebody who is clearly, just thanks to their roots, that they are British through and through and have no it's clearly obvious that they have no ulterior motive. Couldn't get the word out there. Ulterior motive. And that they are for this country and getting everybody assured that they're going to take control again of our borders, the things that we did vote for, get Brexit actually finally finished, even though Keir Starmer says that's his message all of a sudden, he's sort of toppled off the shelf and going, well, I better make a decision of some way. And I don't think that's the right way to have Keir Starmer, thank you very much, to sort out the cost of living crisis and sort out what we're doing with our fuel, perhaps utilising the treasure under our floor, as Richard Tice says. That we should, maybe investigate the fracking a bit and the North Sea oil and become more self-sufficient so that when these global forces try to shut everything down, we are a resilient country. So I would like to see someone, I don't know who there is, and I'm asking, who would you have, and why have we got nobody coming through the ranks who is as charismatic but as reliable and determined to do something as Boris Johnson seemed to be, but wasn't? I'd be interested in your comments today. Incidentally, I'm probably going to move all these Vobes views type things away from the Vobe show. I don't think this is the right platform for it, and I'm working out what to do. At the moment, there's a bit of a shuffling going on with the sort of stuff that I'm doing. So just bear with me, and I will point you where I might have more of these sort of, hopefully not too controversial, but the views that I hold, and those who want to listen to it and share and talk about certain things that are going on in this country, because I think that's important that we do that. And then the Vogue show is probably going to go back, not so much to a live show as such, but more as a fun entertainment vehicle. So I know that I'm all over the place with the content that I'm doing at the moment. So please bear with me. Anyway, I'll be interested. Who's going to be the next Prime Minister? Who should it be? Take care. Thanks for watching.